Dinah, I love you. You mentioned tribe a lot and how important being a part of a tribe is. What does that mean to you?
Tribe, another word would be community. A sense of family, a group where you can just be yourself, support others, be supported, not judged. And I say family, lots of us have families where that doesn't happen.
Right.
So this is more, a tribe is the family that I choose.
Right.
Yes, the Mystics of Texas, you, Jill, and everybody here have been and become our tribe, like from the word go. When we stepped in, we said, where have you been all of our lives? So yes.
You are one of the best vibe person outside of Megan that I've ever known. Like this, you feel so wonderful and good around y'all. And I thought that you would be able to give a lot of insight into our viewers about what it's like to take a massive leap and to do something totally different in your profession. Like, because it's so scary. You know, you've been a nurse. Mm-hmm. And you've been a nurse for a long time. Mm-hmm. And then to jump off into something else with no safety net is ballsy, and to be applauded. And I'm really excited because I think what you're doing is going to offer the world and individual people the opportunity to improve their lives in ways that they couldn't imagine.
Yes, it was ballsy. I don't know if you know the movie with Harrison Ford, Indiana Jones.
Yes. Call him Dr. Jones, dog.
Yes, the moment that he is about to step into this chasm of nothing, and it literally a leap of faith, stretching his leg out. That's exactly how I felt a couple of Tuesdays ago, deciding to leave the corporate world and a big check behind and doing what I'm passionate about, which is being there for people, healing people, and bring real healing outside of.
What put you over the top? Like, what made you go, oh God, I can't do it anymore. I got to go do what I'm meant to do.
It's a burning in my heart. Following your gut. There were a lot of signs leading up to, for about 6 months, you know, when the universe, when the spirit just sends you signs, like, we're here to support you, you got to do this. It's almost like an invisible cheerleading group building up. And then that
invisible cheerleading group.
I have a very supportive family at home, my daughter and Jim, my husband. So obviously without them, I couldn't do it. I think that morning when I decided to step away from what I've done for so long, I just realized money is not everything. Money is, obviously it feeds us, right. It pays what you need, but to really step into a world that I know I'm needed. I know this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help people on a whole different level.
Explain to me exactly what you are jumping off into this currently void, and you're going to go make an offering to the public to help heal them. How are you going to heal them? What exactly does that mean?
So everybody, or a large population now is familiar with energy healing. And there's so many modalities of people being healed outside of the traditional American pharmaceutical way. I grew up and was raised in Berlin, Germany. I didn't know what Tylenol was. When I had a fever, I was wrapped in cold towels so the fever would go down. So coming here to the United States was a foreign thing for me, that everybody swallowed pills when, they coughed. So my kids grew up with garlic and herbs. So I've always been holistically minded. A few years ago, I discovered a guy, his name is Dr. Bradley Nelson. He's a chiropractor, and he was led to discover the emotion code, what he calls the emotion code and the body code, which is a new healing modality. We all have trauma in our lives, and it can be as small as you seeing a spider in your room one day when you're 4 and you're horrified, And your mom doesn't rush in and sits down with you and look, this is an arachnoid and it has 8 legs and look how cute it is, and you
Right.
and you understand. We collect trauma all through our lives, either through abuse, through shocking events, anything, and we store the trauma because we can't handle it. If we would react to every trauma, we would just fall over like a possum and die every 10 minutes, every
Guess that's why I
once,
trip a lot.
maybe. But anyway, so we take this trauma, and our body always wants to keep us at balance. So instead of reacting to the trauma and going through the whole shock, we just take the trauma, and it's almost like opening a door and putting trash into the room. We have one room in our body, in our house, that we open it every time we can't handle something. We throw it in, close the door. We throw it in, we close it, and we think, oh, we handled it, but we don't. So eventually we smell something smelling in the house. Something is not right. You smell this, Jill? You smell this? Something's not right. Where's this coming from? Or we see the door finally starting to buckle, and you wake up one morning and you say, dang, my elbow. I have not done anything. I haven't played tennis, haven't played golf, haven't lifted, but my elbow is giving me the fits. What's wrong? Now, the American person would go, okay, let's go to the doctor, get some steroids, and let's take care of it. Are we? Or are we realizing that finally trauma is showing up and saying, hey, hello, I can't do this anymore? Because trauma does build up as a dis-ease in our body. So that's what I'm going to do.
So if I came to you, if I found you somehow, if I didn't know you, and I said, man, I think I have, high anxiety. I got some pains a little bit. My neck is sore. I always have to stretch because my back always kind of hurts. And probably I have some pent up trauma that I need to deal with. And I called you. How would that go? Like, what would you do? You say, hey, come over to my office, or hey, I'll meet you here. We do it over the phone, a Zoom. Like, what, how, because I'm scheduling an appointment with you. I've already asked, but you haven't done it yet.
Well, Tuesday's my last day, so yes.
Like, I got some trauma. I need this trauma out.
It is,
Steve.
it is a very, very simple process. So what we would do, there's a chart that Dr. Nelson makes available, and I just get into your energy field. We could do muscle, there's something called muscle testing, where your body, if I push it a certain way, would tell me yes or no, just as simple.
Push these guns?
That's why I'm not using that. What I actually do, I use a pendulum, which not everybody's familiar with. We're all energy. Let's just break it down. We're all energy. You're solid, I'm solid, but are we really? No,
They're so cold.
I know. Warm heart. So if you just see yourself as a lot of dots and just an energy field. So if I would come towards you, my hand would actually go through you. Right. So if we realize that we're just energy, I can actually, you and I right now are in the same energy field. That's you right. can feel me, I can feel you. If you're angry at me, you won't have to say anything. I'll probably feel it and I'll leave. Right. So there's energy flowing.
But I'm not angry.
I know. we're both Sagittarians. We just could sit here forever, not ever care about.
I love this energy field.
So what I would do, I would get into your energy field with the pendulum. It would tell me. It sounds woo-woo. It sounds freaky, but it really isn't once you get used to it. And it would, your subconscious, your energy would tell me. I could just ask a simple question: Has Kevin eaten breakfast this morning? It would literally tell me yes or no, because your subconscious will talk to me.
Right. I think of the energy field in this way is, like, we've all been in a room where, like, let's say me and you boys, where we're all hanging out, and we're laughing and cutting up, having a good time, and then all of a sudden, like, Debbie Downer walks in, just like a depressed, angry person. All of a sudden, all of our energies shift. And our energies shift because that negative energy comes in. But the same thing happens if we're having a great time, and all of a sudden, John wants to hang out, and he walks up, and he's laughing, hugging, can't wait this is great, I'm going to hang out with y'all. And then we're like, yeah, like he uplift and added to the group instead of being a Debbie Downer, making everybody depressed. And that to me is a really real life example of how energy exchanges, because we don't think about it in those terms. You can like actually physically tell and feel somebody else's energy because it changes groups. Y'all notice this next time you're just hanging out with your buddy and another buddy walks in. If the energy is elevated, stays the same, or goes down. Because then you'll instantly know how that other person is feeling right then. You're like, oh, maybe my buddy needs a little pep talk, maybe he needs some help. Or maybe my buddy's having such a good day, I want to share in his happiness. Like that's a good way to understand energy. Like I love feeling your energy all the time, and you are awesome.
It's mutual.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Either way, there's a chart that I go by, and I just, your inner person tells me via your energy flow, maybe it's anxiety, maybe it's love unreceived, maybe it's depression, and it's almost like opening that door that I was referring to earlier. And if you go in your house and you say, oh, wow, this is my hoarder room, I'm just going to walk in and clean it out. You're probably not going to the very left corner in the very back drawer to start cleaning that house. The first thing you do is, pick up a piece of paper, and you're gonna work yourself through the room, and that's pretty much how it works. So as we get started, we're just erasing that trauma from you. And it's just as simple as taking a magnet and swiping it over your meridian, which the meridian is the very center of your energy field.
Does it relate to the chakras?
Yes, obviously. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Kevin. So I always tell my clients, and I have clients mostly up north because somehow in the southern hemisphere here, people are a little skeptical about energy work. So healers like, healers that, in our community, they're just having a harder time making themselves understood that this is a very valid modality. But
it's
just
been practiced for centuries, by the way.
Oh, way before any pharmaceutical FDA ever came along. Just as you would think of your credit card has a magnetic strip on it. And if you wanted to erase that, you wouldn't have to cut it up. You could take a magnet and just swipe over it, and it would eliminate the information that's on the credit card. Same thing. We take a magnet. It could be a kitchen magnet that you have hanging pictures on your refrigerator on of Jill, dressed or undressed. Did I just say that?
I got those pictures in my mind.
And you take it over your meridian and you swipe it. And the trauma actually leaves. Let me tell you how I became a believer.
Please.
So when I first was exposed to the knowledge of the emotion code, Jim and I were just playing around in the living room, figuring it out. Gabby, I think she was about 16 around that time, came home and she said, what are y'all doing? And we said, well, we're, dabbling with this emotion code thing. She said, what is that? And I explained to her what we were doing. She said, oh, I want to do this. At this time,
How old was she?
I think she was about 16-ish. Now, let me backtrack. So I was, when I was married to Gabby's dad, he had, when she was about 4 or 5, he had this souvenir that he had kept in his closet somewhere, which was a walking stick from South Africa. She would see it. It was like elaborately drawn on. It was colors and whatever. She would see it and she would be horrified of it. And she would see it and cry, and I said, what's wrong? And she said, when I look at it, I see eyes coming out of the stick. I mean, I thought, okay, I believe her, whatever spiritual experience she has is not positive. So I took the stick and I broke it.
Did that help?
Yeah, I thought as a mom, I had taken care of it. The stick was removed. I broke it. You make it final.
Well, she probably didn't like it because you broke it over.
Yes, so I never, no, I didn't. Probably should have. No. So, that was the backstory. Over the years, and I never even thought of that till that day when she was 16, but over the years, I had noticed that Gabby was never the child that was emotionally available. She was always, you and I are huggers.
Yeah.
We see each other, we give us the biggest hug. She was not that child. And as a mom, I was always, my goodness, I wish she was more of a huggy, come sit with me,
Right.
emotionally available child. And she just wasn't. And I just accepted it. So that day in the living room, she came, I did the process. I forgot what trauma, what trapped emotion we discovered. And immediately she started to cry. And I said, why are you crying? She said, you remember that stick that I always was afraid of? I said, yeah, I remember. I took care of it. She said, I don't know, but all these emotions are coming up and I just feel this, I remember this stick. I said, okay. So we did it. We took the magnet, we removed whatever. She was done. She said, okay, see y'all later, whatever. I'm telling you, within 24 hours, this child changed. She's the biggest hugger. She's going to ask you to give her hugs. She became emotionally available. And I knew at that day that if I can change my child that for years was distant, didn't want to be touched, didn't want to be hugged, could change within 24 hours to become the most soft, loving, huggable person, I knew something had left. I knew this was real. I knew this wasn't a woo-woo thing.
Right. But
And
you
I have
been practicing this your whole life because you're like so lovable and huggy and sexy.
But I have clients from, like I said, all over the North, and I do it via Zoom because energy has no distance, no time, no anything. So I Zoom with my clients from up north, get into their energy field. I just recently had a lady from Austin, Texas. If you're watching this, hey. And she told me after 3 sessions she was firing, in a nice way, her therapist because she said, my life has changed. I don't know what you did, but I feel like a blanket has lifted. I don't fight with my husband. I'm not depressed. I see the sunshine outside. I don't know what happened, but we're good. We're doing this
Well,
till I'm
excited
done.
to be a client in person. And I am ready to give feedback to people.
Yes, yes.
I'm really
And
excited.
how can I not pursue this? To your first question, how can I not pursue this when I see lives change in front of me? And I'm always honored. This is not a pride thing. This is a service thing for me to help others
If
to
you're
stop.
good at it, you have to do it.
Well, but it's almost like I'm just facilitating. I'm just showing other people, you can be free. The body code is more specific. My husband Jim is the prime example. Again, I was finding the body code again through Dr. Bradley Nelson, and never knew. You can be married to a person and don't know that their foot hurts every day. So
Right.
Jim had neck pain for quite a while, and in this case, we discovered that it happened through an accident that he had when he was 28.
Right.
He had almost forgotten that he almost got killed. And the body code found that kinetic energy, which is just energy that moves,
Right.
got stuck in his neck during that accident. And every time he would take care of the yard or do anything physical, he would always wake up with just a stiff neck, just really hurting. And he was so used to it, he didn't talk about it. So I was never aware that he had neck pain all the time.
Right.
We did the body code, and not within 24 hours, within minutes. And he still tells me, babe, my neck, no matter what I do, doesn't hurt. Now, it doesn't always happen this way. It's like me giving you a vitamin and you say, you take this vitamin one day and you're going to have the benefits. No. Sometimes we're like onions. We have to peel it till everything falls off.
Right.
It sometimes is a process, but it can happen that immediately, like the lady that just fired her therapist, has relief from whatever was unlocked.
Well, there are a lot of ways that we can practice getting rid of our stress, getting rid of our anxiety. There's like so many ways. I've had a lot of different therapists because I've had more issues than National Geographic, and it's interesting to me that there are people like you that will offer this thing to the world and it actually works. That there are various modalities of meditation, of just visiting with friends, like just a simple act of having open, honest communication, hanging out is like really cool. Like that can be a therapeutic thing. telling somebody, hey, you can really probably calm some of your anxieties if you take your shoes off and just go walk in the field. Like me and Dean, Dean knew I was stressed out a couple of weeks ago, and he's like, let's go earth. Like, okay, if y'all don't know what earthing is, we just went and laid down in the grass. We just wanted to feel the natural vibrations of Mother Nature. And that is one of the important things about a group like this, is that we have so many different personalities and so many different offerings to each other that actually are just, well, one of my favorite words, badass. It's just badass that we can do that. And I think what you're doing is going to be just revolutionize your entire life, and going to bring so much happiness and peace and abundance is going to flow to you. I just feel that.
Thank you.
And it's kind of like, one of the things what we do here, wasn't last week Orchard Week?
Yes.
Yeah. We just have food abundance, there's no reason not to have an abundance of things that we need, and to have a group that we can go out and, cut trees together and prune and give them a haircut, and everybody gets apples, peaches, pears, and all that sort of thing. There's no reason, me and Dean and whoever else is going to help, we're going to go plant peppers and, all the stuff in the greenhouse over here. And everybody that helps, and even the people that don't, whatever we got left over, we're going to be eating it on Sundays. And me and Dean are going to be eating a lot of it for sure. And that's the beauty of having a group and a place that we can do that. And if y'all haven't seen the interview, which is on our Facebook page, I cannot repost it on our YouTube, because YouTube has some kind of rule where you can't 100% repost a video on your deal without editing and commenting and all of, and I'm not doing all that, but I'll put a link to it in this video, that some of the struggles that we're going through here, which is just fascinating, that there are dark forces in the world, and there are positive, good forces in the world. And I think in order for us to live better, we need to promote energy work like you're talking about. We need to uplift each other and help each other, like I love referring to Megan's move. That was beautiful to me. And to hug Gabby, and John saw our deal, and he's like, hell, I got to go. I got to come out. That kind of support is unbelievable. And then these new guys come, hell, you have a cigar, and to me, a cigar is a magical thing, because I light it. It is my magical thoughts and emotions and desires going into the universe, and hopefully it hears me and comes back to me. And if that is, that was fun and for these guys the other day, and I love that. And I love you. You have the best spirit ever. If anybody's in the local area or anywhere you are, how do they find you?
Well, we have a website. We're also life coaches. So we are at dynagymlifesolutions.org.
Well, we will put that on the screen and in
Perfect.
the description. And I will give your first, well, I bet you have a bunch of reviews, but I'm going to give you the best review ever, because I already know it's coming.
Awesome.
You rock. Thank y'all for joining us. And let's go do some meditation and
Yay.
some breath work and hang out and BS. I love y'all.